Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go,
Hey,
Bo
Here
Bros.
we go again, baby. Game
Yeah.
2,
Game,
preseason. Let's
game
go.
2 preseason. Yo.
Um, yeah, let me do the quick intro here. Once again, we're the Bolt Bros. I'm here with my two bros, Kyle and Andy. I'm James. We're here
What's
to talk
up?
about the Chargers and the Chargers opponents. And obviously, we're going to talk about the game today. So that's what we're all here to talk about. So, and give you a little bit of a recap of the week, too. So, Bolt Bros, let's go.
Let's go.
Woo! Woo! Here we go
Yeah.
again.
heck yeah, heck yeah.
We're here-
day,
we're here to beat
dollar,
down the
and
Cowboys,
awesome
dude.
preseason game coming up, boys.
That's right. It's going to
Got
be a good
another
one.
one here. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how this one goes. I mean, there's a lot of things that we got to kind of clean up on based upon the last game. But let's kind of first, everybody in the live, by the way, we're going to kind of go through our spiel, kind of our notes for weekly notes and preseason notes.
Yep.
And then you guys could ask questions and everything too. We're not going to get to them till the end of the stream. But yeah, we got everything ready to rip here. So let's just go through a quick little weekly notes if you guys want to go through that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on to the weeks. I know we've chatted about some things. We did some shorts about a few topics and such, but let's go ahead
Absolutely.
and talk just kind of a little bit more about a few things here. For me, I wasn't at camp, but what you're hearing a lot about Khalil Mack is that he's an absolute beast. If you didn't know,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
he seems like he is destroying the Cowboys right now. And it was what was it? Is it Tyron Smith? Their left tackle? Who is it?
Yeah.
What's his name? I think it's his name. Tyron. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong on that name, but either way, he was blowing up him in getting multiple sacks.
Yeah.
Looks like a guy that just is Khalil Mack. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exciting to see. That's
Yes.
very, very exciting to see. And I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on some of the highlights that you guys seen of Khalil doing his thing?
Well-
Khalil is looking amazing to me. Oh, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say basically the same thing. I mean, like, the thing that I like seeing the most about that is that everyone's like, oh, well, he's injury prone. He's all washed up. He's not going to be good. Like, of course, I think that's just all from salty Raiders fans. The fact that he's now playing for
sure.
us and not them.
Yep.
So, and I mean, hey, dude, he's a 3-time All-Pro freaking edge rusher. So he's going to show up and turn up and bolt the F up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have to also say this too. I really do believe that he has done a lot to try and shut up the naysayers, right? All the people that are coming out and saying he's washed up. I think he's excited to show people that he's still got plenty of gas in the tank and just see what he can do, right? And the one thing when we talk about Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, they are two completely different edge rushers.
Yep.
I was chatting. I've been watching a lot about how Khalil Mack's he pushes his way through people. He just bull rushes them and just moves them out of the way. Whereas Joey Bosa a little more finesse. And so they have two different types of games as rushing the cornerback and also playing rush defense as well. So it's interesting how they're different, but they also complement each other in different ways, which I think is really cool. So that's one thing I'm excited to see. And good to see you, Aether. What's up, guys? How we doing? I know people are going to start trickling in.
They're good.
Yep. Well, and the one thing about Mac too with Bosa, I mean, they're talking about they want to break records, and I think they want the 1-2 punch and be able to just dominate this division, dominate the NFL, and break records. And I'm interested to see what kind of the breaking of the records might be for like two ends and seeing how many sacks they get. I think it's very, very possible to get over 10 each. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all lays out for him. I mean, he's looking healthy. He's looking to break records. I mean, his motor looks extremely high. I mean, I'm excited to see Mac out there. It's going to
my gosh, me too.
Awesome.
Me too.
It's going to be awesome. So, Kyle, kind of moving along. Derwin James got his contract.
Yee!
Pretty got that boy signed up. We got that boy signed up.
That's right,
dude. I mean, how cool is that? Like, glad to be able to get him locked in. And the big thing about it too is, getting this contract. The old Chargers, and I'll say pre-Brandon Staley, we would have let this contract lead into the year. And that kind of could throw off the whole mojo of what this defense is and what we've tried to build here. So I'm glad that we were able to do that and get it done. I mean, I hate having like these contracts linger. It's like even when Joey Bosa, when he got drafted by us, it just lingered forever. And so it's kind of one of those things. Glad we're away from that trend.
Yes.
So it's good to be able to see him in there.
It's good. And again, I did a video on Derwin, or excuse me, not Derwin. I did a video on Derwin. Yeah, my saying this week has gone by so quickly. But look, I think bottom line, it's great to see our organization investing in our players, right? That resonates a lot with the league in general, right? Because people will be like, oh, hey, man, the Chargers are willing to pay up for players. I mean, I always ask people, like, why would you want to play for the Raiders? Why would you want to play for these other teams? Well, those other teams pay people to be on that team, right? And we're seeing big contracts and, signing these people. But, oh, my gosh, absolutely amazing to see. And I will say this. It's really interesting to see how different we approach these preseason games compared to other teams. I was watching the Patriots, dude. They had all their number ones in the first quarter.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what are they doing out? They could get hurt, right? And it's so strange to me to see that. And you're not going to see any number ones out there for the most part, unless there's really a battle going back and forth. You're going to see a lot of probably Joshua Kelly. You're going to see a lot of Isaiah Spiller and some Tree, and that's about it. And also Horvath. You might see a little bit of. I mean, I think those are the only four you're going to see pretty much this preseason game. So I just think it's interesting the way we handle it differently compared to other teams. We want to go healthy in week 1 and be ready for the end of the season for a push.
Yeah, it's not really much that you want to be able to put your guys on the line for a preseason game.
Correct.
This game doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot to the starters. Right. But getting back to Derwin James's contract, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of a front-loaded contract too. So $20.5 million up front with a $3 million bonus through 2026. It's kind of really more of an average of 13 mil a season. I mean, if you add the bonus, it's roughly about 16 million a season, but it's pretty solid contract for us. So it's pretty big for us all around. So,
it's kind of, I was just going to say, it's like, he's the highest paid safety of all time right now, but it's like, it actually still seeing those numbers. I'm like, man, this is actually kind of a discount compared to like, what, I mean, obviously what we're looking down the barrel of with the Justin Herbert contract coming up, So like, because I'm telling you, man, that thing's going to be a monster. So,
oh my gosh. Absolutely.
It was, who was it that was at the camp today or last week? Peter King was chatting a little bit about that. And he was kind of saying the whole thing about the whole Derwin James, or excuse me, Justin Herbert contract is that it's not going to be something similar to like what Deshaun Watson got. It's not going to be this fully guaranteed type of situation.
Correct.
It might be something a little different. So, I mean, once again, that's a next year situation for us. It's not a now year situation for us now. Yeah. We just want to basically just get through the season and get to a Super Bowl and win one, baby. So that's what we're trying to do.
Win one, baby.
That's right. Win one. We're going to get one. Yeah.
So, but moving along to just kind of camp notes, J.C. Jackson's making plays versus the Cowboys.
Yeah,
batted passes, strip balls out of receivers. This is the CB1 that we wanted. This is the cornerback one that we needed. And it's the batted pass on Instagram. I put a comment in there and said, "Get that corn out of my face." If anybody knows that reference,
get that corn out of my face.
Get that corn out of my face. Yeah.
So it was just pretty funny to be able to kind of see that. But hey, I love seeing that. We got a guy that could get to those balls, pop the ball out, make plays happen, kind of thing. So I'm excited to be able to see that as a player too. So good to see. Justin Herbert also throwing dimes. I mean,
oh my gosh, he looking so sharp.
Man, I mean, I think they put it aside for side by side of that pass that he threw against Diggs with Allen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was all over the place, all over social media.
Yeah. I mean, that thing got reposted. I have buddies hit me up on that, and they're like, "Gosh, look at that throw!" But they did a side by side of another throw similar to that against the
Yeah.
Jets. I think in 2020, I think it was, and it was like almost identical. And this guy, it's not just a fluke throw by any means. This guy's got the ability to do it. So obviously, deep route to Guyton was really exciting to see too. So all around, we love seeing Herbert, and I think he's in midseason form right now. So
he's looking great, man. You know, I'll add a couple things. The number ones, the only reps they get are during the week. They're not playing game day, and again, if you watch those games, it's kind of like two-hand touch. Everyone's kind of running out there. I mean, even that one where Diggs was kind of he gave up on the play so quick. I mean, Allen was just standing in the end zone like this, and you could clearly tell he wasn't trying to cover him anymore.
Yep.
My point in saying that is, I know we're like, all right, our number ones are ready to go. We don't need to start them. We want them just to get the wiggles out a little bit, be ready. Yeah. The one thing I will say, Justin Herbert also, he stays after late whenever he feels like he doesn't make certain throws, and he will throw balls for hours in a day. I remember Keelan Allen talking about that during his interview. He was like, oh yeah, Justin Herbert was out here just throwing balls for like an hour and a half. I don't know why he does that, right? And clearly he has a focus of being the best quarterback that he can possibly be. Obviously last year it didn't go the way we wanted it to. So it's good to see that we are pushing to become better. And the thing I love about it too, even when we talk about my running back 2 conversation, all of the players across the line in the whole team has stepped up their game for a playoff run this season, right? So
absolutely.
I'm excited to see that, right? And everyone is pushing to be the best version of themselves. So I think that's exciting. So, and again, that's the ones. Obviously, the 2s are pushing for a spot, and 3s are pushing for a spot, right? So,
right.
Yeah. So, anyhow, just want to throw it out there.
You know, I was gonna say, I mean, to go into a little bit more about what you just talked about too, about how during this the scrimmages are the reps that the ones are gonna get like all week. You know.
Yeah.
So because it's obviously it's a more safe like time to do it because they're red-shirted. You don't
not full contact.
Yeah.
Not all over the ground. Yep.
Yeah. So like that's why the scrimmages between the Cowboys were so important this week, because that's the only time that they're going to get to play and to kind of get the rhythm to throw the ball in kind of a coverage situation, you know. So and so that's why, like, you know, you saw Justin Herbert out there and you saw Dak Prescott out there. And honestly, Dak Prescott looked pretty good out there, too. I mean, I don't know, because actually, before we started this, I was actually watching a lot of the Cowboy coverage to kind of see what the heck's going on with their side, you know? So I think, honestly, I think that's kind of something that I want to do for this this whole channel, by the way, is a lot more opposition research. So I'll be
absolutely.
I'll be digging into more like, okay, what's the Raiders game plan? What are they going to do? What are they talking about? You know, and you know, like in a lot of the Cowboys people, like they're saying straight up that it's Super Bowl or bust for them every year, no matter what, because they have just that kind of mentality with their team, and because they have so much high expectations for the team, you know.
Right. But I think that's a Cowboys fan mentality. They think they're going to win the Super Bowl every single year, and they've been that way since the 90s. Like,
well, I get that, but like that's what every fan has to do, though. You know, it's like to be honest, it's like, look, I think the Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl every single year.
Yep.
And we've had a 60-year drought on that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't care. I'm going to make it 61 years, and I'm going to make it 62 years. Like if we don't make it this year, but it's this year. Come on,
it's the year.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
We got a good squad. I mean, even to say, you shared some of the memes too about the guys that are under contract for the next 3 years, and we got a core nucleus of players that could really give us that 3-year window to work with. And so, I mean, this year is major for us, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes. You know, going back to Rivers and Keenan Allen talking a little bit about Rivers and how Herbert's staying after, and he kind of talked a little bit about like, oh yeah, Rivers never used to do that.
Never did that. Never used to do that.
But the thing about that is that, you know, with Rivers, he has like 1,000 kids. And then also he got on a bus basically to go back to San Diego. So it's kind of like, you know, he kind of couldn't do it, but the same side, it's great to see that we have a guy like Herbert that loves football, wants to put in the extra work, find a way to make himself better in any which way. I think Herbert was even saying in his interview, he's like, hey, if there was a couple passes I didn't make, I basically work on those passes. If it's 5 different things that I felt like I needed to work on, I'm going to work on those 5 things. And so I love seeing that out of our general for our offense. And he's our captain. He's our guy. He's the guy to make this thing work. And I love seeing that there's a guy that just loves football and loves playing it. And it's great to even hear when he talked about when they had the break before the training camp is, hey, I'm still going to be throwing balls around. I'm still going to be working on football. And love seeing that. So great to see that. So.
Is there any way that we can find out? Because, because I always think of Kobe Bryant. I mean, obviously he's one of the GOATs in basketball, of course, different sport, whatever. But there was one time that he was actually out practicing, and one of his teammates showed up to practice with him. Of course, Kobe was already there. His teammate showed up to practice or whatever too. But then once his teammate was done practicing, he just kept hearing that ball dribble or whatever, and that's Kobe just telling him like straight up. It's like, look, no matter how hard you practice, I'm going to practice more than you. I'm going to work harder than you. And you're never going to be able to be greater than me, Like, and so my question is like, does Justin Herbert do after practice, or does he do stuff on his own time as well? Like, I mean, I hope so. Like, because that's what every great. Yeah.
I remember after the OTAs, he went home for a while to Oregon, and he was throwing balls with his brothers. He's like, his brothers were running out routes for him. He's like, oh yeah, I can work on those with my brothers. And I'm planning on doing all that. Right. So
love it.
It's muscle memory, right? You got to make sure that you're making these passes without really thinking about it. Right. Because you only have split seconds to figure it out. I mean, you recall my quarterback rankings, the best quarterbacks get the ball out fast. If they hold on to the ball over 2 seconds in this league, you're going to get crunched. So, you're not going to surprise. You got to make decisions quick and accurate. And I remember meeting one of my business trips. There was a guy I was chatting with, and I've shared this story once or twice on our podcast, but he was a quarterbacks coach. I cannot remember. He coached 4 or 5 different quarterbacks of the league at the time. This is probably 10 years ago. And I made a comment to him about one of the quarterbacks being really short. And, he was like 6 foot tall. And I think maybe it might've been Russell Wilson. I was like, yeah, I like Russell Wilson, but he's kind of small. And he said, you know what, though, that doesn't really matter in the league. It's all about timing and repetition and accuracy. That's more important than just about anything else. And if you look at people like Tom Brady's a great example of that, right? He was never good. He was accurate when he needed to be. He was always accurate, but he always got the ball out fast and on time. Because again, these routes are timed up, boom, out, up, out, up, out. And so it's pass heavy offenses, man. And that's just the way the game is now. So anyways, very exciting to see that with Herb and his commitment is
I love seeing that.
It's
great. It's great to have a guy like that. I mean, he's very, very focused on the game and he loves the game all around. Just to go back to your point, Kyle, talking about Justin Herbert and maybe a comparison of Kobe Bryant or whatnot. So I remember when Kobe Bryant came to the Chargers, because I guess they were in the same building, I believe, in Costa Mesa. And he had Kobe Bryant come over and talk to the team and everything. He brought up something about a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's a very short read.
Oh, yeah.
And basically that book is kind of talking about this seagull that kind of just thinks differently and doesn't go with the actual Joneses or basically the standard way of living. I'm going to do the extra work. I'm going to push myself to be a better seagull, seagull once again. But that's kind of a seagull. But Justin Herbert's our seagull that's going out there and doing that extra work. And that book is actually really, really solid. It's a very short read. You could even listen to it on YouTube. I found a copy that I was able to read, and it's just a great little book. But that's what it's all about. You can apply that to anything in your life. Do the extra, do a little bit more, and do it better than everybody else. And I think that's really what Justin Herbert does. He really hones his craft, and he loves the game on top of that. Because, I mean, you could hone your craft all you want, but if you don't really care and love it, it's just going to become pointless at that time. You're not going to put enough heart into it. And I'm excited to see where Herbert's going to be this year. And I think we have very, very high expectations. And I think a lot of people that aren't even Chargers fans have high expectations of Herbert. So,
big time, big time.
So,
yeah. Actually, and it's not the sea chickens, it's the sea cocks. That's what they're called. They're called the sea cocks.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a buddy who's a Seahawks fan. I'm like, I pick on him all the time. Oh, you're a Seahawks fan? Oh, it's weird.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, but to your point, you did bring that up, right? Who works hard at it after the whole, practice. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are doing that themselves. There's tons of videos of them out there, and Joey's saying, "Hey, I do this swim move and I do this," and then Khalil's like, "Well, this is what I do," and so they handle the games very differently. But they're afterwards saying, "All right, this is what I think." And by the way, I was looking at your notes, James. We didn't talk about Rumph. Rumph has gotten so much better. He looked so good last week. Again, we're not going to see Khalil Mack. We're not going to see Joey Bosa. I'm really curious to see how Rumph does in this game. So I'm really excited to see some of the reps that he can put in. He's looking bigger and he's looking more aggressive. He looks nasty. Nasty.
Yeah, we'll chat a little bit about that. We'll chat about that with all the preseason little bits there and everything. I wanted to get to the right tackles just in camp versus the Cowboys and just chat about them. And, it's kind of a little disheartening a little bit because you started hearing the right tackles and Zion basically getting beat up out there versus Michael Parsons and all those kind of guys out there. So it's kind of scary to be able to see that and to know these were the guys that we're going to go into the season with. And guess what? They're getting smoked. Like, that's not good to see. But, it sounded like they recovered after day 2. So they looked a little bit more prepared. Yeah. I mean, Brandon Staley talked a little bit about that. Hey, look, like we didn't really come in here with a game plan. We wanted to just kind of go in there and try to be able to create, knowledge about these guys on the fly kind of thing. We didn't come in with anything like that. So, I understand the idea behind that, but I understand it kind of makes us as fans sit there and think, holy smokes, we're going to get eaten up alive on that right side of the line again. So I know for us, we've seen them in the preseason already, Trey Pipkins, Storm Norton, and Zion, and they did well during the preseason. Now, once again, those are against 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever it might be. But transitioning into the notes for the preseason game.
All right, let's get into
That's something to be able to look at for sure for this game. Right tackle. We need to feel more comfortable in that position. So we need to see those guys do their jobs. And that's something that we're going to see. Now, once again, they're not going to go against the ones, I don't imagine. It's probably going to be the 2s and 3s and everything, but still, we want to see that they do well into this game. So that's obviously, I want you guys to kind of put a little bit of your guys' knowledge on that too. Andy, what's your thoughts on the right tackle?
I think Pipkins it's his spot to lose right now. I think a lot of people really like him. He's been getting first reps most of the time. I think he'll probably get the first start, and then it'll go to Storm. And then we'll probably see some Jamar Salyer as well too, right? Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm really curious to see what they do. The one thing, and again, this happened a lot last week. And by the way, before I keep going, guys, throw your questions down. If you have some questions, we'll get to it at the end of our prepared notes and conversation points, but we will get to them at the end. But I will say this. They're doing a lot of rotations of players, right? They've had a lot of people up and down the line. Here's this line, boom, and bring them in. Bring a whole new line in, boom, bring them in. See who does well, see who doesn't do well, see what they do right, what they do wrong, right? Again, this film is important for all these players because some of these players might not make the team. Some of these players might get let go. And it's very clear that at least our game plan moving forward is to give these people as much play time as possible so they can find a spot somewhere else if we can't continue on with them. But as far as right tackle is concerned, I think it's Trey and then Storm and then Salyer. I think that's how it's sitting right now, as it is today. Yep.
Any little input on that, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like we're going to see. Definitely we're going to see Easton Stick is going to do the start for quarterback.
He'll start
for this first half, and then Chase Daniel's going to do the start for the second half. That's what apparently I saw online is that they're going to flip flop that each of these games.
Yep.
So, but then as far as right tackle goes, I think they're going to put Pipkins in first, and then they're going to put in Storm second. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Salyer at right tackle. there to kind of flip around. But he's actually been going left guard a lot more.
Yeah.
All through training camp and stuff.
Yep.
So I don't really see him actually going over to the right side or anything like that, But Zion Johnson's definitely going to be starting because he's a rookie. You got to get those reps in, So it's going to be good.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. The one thing that I'm kind of thinking about too is like, what if it becomes a disaster for this game too? What if the right tackle looks bad? I mean, do we start thinking, all right, put Jamari Salyer to the left guard, and then put Matt Filer to the right tackle? Like, do you think you would do that? Or is it too late to be able to go after some other right tackle? And that's a free agent right now too. So it's just going to be an interesting thing to see how it goes. I imagine they're going to have a good game. We're probably going to end up talking after the pregame or post game. We're going to probably be like, oh yeah, right tackles look great. I mean, that's just going to be interesting to see how it goes. Now, I'm excited to be able to see Easton stick with the twos and see how he's going to look with better talent around him. So, so that'll be good to be able to watch.
Last week, he was all right. He was good. That final drive was like, I mean, there's a fire in him. Like we all see it, It's just there was just he was playing against with the 3s and 4s out there for that final drive, So I mean, guaranteed there's going to be some issues and disconnects there, So, but I'm definitely excited to see what Easton Stick does out now with a little bit better of a squad here. So, good.
That brings up a good question, right? Who do you guys think should be the number 1 and number 2? Maybe we should even ask the question in the chat here as well too. Yeah. Should Easton Stick be the number 2 or Chase Daniel? I mean, personally, I think Easton Stick should be. I think he's got the younger legs. I think he's got the moxie. He only lost 3 games in college, guys. 3 games, 3 games. And boy, I just keep looking at him and say to myself, man, I love Chase Daniel, but he's really more of a coach rather than an actual player at this point.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a guy that can really, win the game, and I think Easton Stick has been in the league long enough and picked up enough from, Harvard and all these, coaching. I think he can do it. I think he's a better guy. So to your point, Kyle, I'm excited to see what he's going to do with the number 2s, see if he produces more. Because I really do think he's a better quarterback. He's just got a little more juice, got a better arm also. Plus, he can use his legs a little more as well. So, I like it. So, and guys, keep your questions coming, right? Just keep them coming. We'll get to them towards the end as well too. So we just want to go through kind of our prepared remarks. So,
if you want to transition to the RB2 battle, which I know Andy, you did a full video on too.
I did.
I kind of want you to be able to chat a little bit about what your thoughts were if anybody has not seen that video. That's something that we're all looking at.
Yeah. So here's where it stands now. I think running back 1, and it should not be a, real conversation. It's obviously Austin Eckler is our guy, right? He's going to get the majority of the carries. Running back 2, I think right now, Joshua Kelly, I think is our running back 2 right now as it stands. And I think largely because he showed up in camp with just a fire. He gained weight. He's making more decisive decisions, right? I think that was one of the arguments that a lot of people had with him, was that we kind of bounce around the backfield and then not really just pick a gap and go and just get north and south. And so I think that's been a really good thing for him. And then I think third would be obviously Isaiah Spiller. Now, when I say a number 2 and number 3, guys, they're going to be split carries with the other 2 guys from Austin Eckler. Eckler's going to get 20 carries. He'll get some, plays out of the backfield. But when we're splitting hairs, it's like 5 carries. They'll probably go with whoever's hotter that game. I almost feel like the running back 2 battle is kind of like we'll have 3 running backs. The other 2 will get some carries, and we'll see what happens. So, but I mean, he's looking the part. He's looking great. But I also think Xander Horvath will probably make the team. And I think Gabe Neighbors may not make the team. He might be on practice squad, which is sort of sad because I like Gabe, but I think that Horvath brings a better overall mix with power, ferociousness. He's just a bigger guy. He can get those tougher yards, and he's very valuable on special teams, which is a good thing.
That's a huge thing. Yeah,
that's huge. I mean, and again, across the board, guys, what do you think? Do you agree with me or disagree with me on that? Because I really think that's how it's sitting now, and I think that's probably what we'll see moving forward. Again, it's just going to be split carries with the rest of the 3 backs that are going to be back there. So that's kind of my view. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
It's funny that you bring that up because I remember watching something. I think it was on the Pat McAfee show. They were chatting with one of the beat writers from the Steelers, and they were chatting a little bit about like the RB2 position for the Steelers. And they said, well, the thing about it is Najee Harris can get the ball 30, 35 times. So we're just got to find a guy that gets 2 to 3 carries behind him. And I'm thinking that just sounds silly to say that. But
right.
I mean, once again, they don't really have an RB2 for that team.
No.
And to be honest, for us, like I kind of look at it a little bit like this with Austin Eckler. Eckler is an absolute stud in the open field.
Yep.
Absolute stud. So if you get him out on the little like screenplay or just a little dump off to him, he'll make those yards happen. He's fantastic at that. He's a good runner. I'm not saying a great runner between the tackles and everything. He's okay. Yeah. We just need to find that guy that could be that in between the tackle kind of guy. And I think Spiller could be that.
Yep.
Joshua Kelly, I'm a little nervous with him just for the fact of history because he's fumbled the ball a fair amount.
He's fumbled the ball quite a bit. Yep.
Yes.
Now, I'm kind of expecting Isaiah Spiller to kind of do the same thing too, just because he's a rookie too.
Sure.
But then you got Xander Horvath, if he's going to be the guy, or Gabe Neighbors, or whomever it might be. But it's just about, for me, I look at the running back position as Austin Eckler's a great pass catching back. He's like basically just another wide receiver on the team.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, he's a lot like Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
Right.
That's totally what he is. And to be honest, like statistically, he matches up really well with Christian McCaffrey. To be honest, it's pretty kind of wild to see that. But he just doesn't get as much love as McCaffrey gets. But this RB2 is about finding a guy who could run between the tackles. And Isaiah Spiller so far fits that mold very, very well. He loves running in between the tackles. He does a great job of being patient in between the tackles and finding that hole, and hits that hole like LT, baby. Booyah.
Hit that hole. Hit that hole.
Hit that hole.
Hit that hole.
We should play that song, guys. It's amazing.
That's
LT,
right.
That is the dopest video ever, man. We'll have to do like a reaction video on that one of these days, guys. Hit that hole.
It's the best. It's the best. But agreed. I think one last thought on there too. I would say this. I do believe you're kind of splitting hairs, right? But I think the biggest thing is you don't want to take away from Austin Eckler, but you also need to save his body for the whole season. So a few of these other guys are going to step up. One thing I want to see, and guys, what about 2 running back sets, right? You obviously have Horvath. If we do I formation, we've already seen quite a bit of I formation this season, or this preseason, I should say. But what if we have 2 running backs in the backfield and they both just go out, right? Yep. Isaiah Spiller to the right, Austin Eckler to the left. Dude, that is such a huge matchup problem for the other team. I mean, what do? They could chip on the outside and then go out, a little extra protection on the edge. Dude, forget about it. Like, that's so hard to defend. And again, Spiller, as we know, can make some amazing catches out of the backfield. We saw one last week. That backhanded catch he got right out of the backfield was absolutely incredible. Good body control to be able to get that ball.
And by the way, he was the youngest person drafted this last draft. The youngest player drafted. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, his upside is huge, right? That's kind of why I think Joshua Kelly might get the nod over him, just because he's older. He's been in the league longer.
Sure.
And I think he deserves at least the nod. But again, it's kind of a title, but they're still going to split carries, right? So anyhow, that's my thought.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, in this offseason, though, Joshua Kelly actually bulked up a lot. And like,
Big time.
And he went on a huge, like, diet regimen or whatever like that, because like, I mean, he sees Austin Eckler being a beast out there, and he's always at the gym, just, showing videos of himself, just like, getting freaking swole. And yeah, dude. And so I think really Joshua Kelly took a page out of his book and was like, all right, you know what? If I really want to do this thing, I need to actually like bulk up and, get stronger and just, get his mind right. Maybe like, I think all of last year, this mindset was just not set to be perfect, for the league right now, but nowadays, I think now he's actually doing much better on that. And I think he's actually like putting himself out there to actually step up a lot more. So for me personally, I feel like he has the the best chance of being RB2 over Spiller right now.
Yep.
Yep. Makes sense.
It's gonna, yeah, it totally makes sense. And I mean, we'll see. I think the thing is, these next 2 games are going to really decide that too. And but I think there could be just like an RB1 and an RB2A and 2B kind of situation here.
Sure.
I think it could be a situational kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of lays out throughout the season. And to be honest, last season, I remember it was always like Roundtree one game, and then it'd be Kelly the other game. And then it would be, it just kind of kept going back and forth, Justin Jackson. And then it was just, there was no consistency on that position. It was almost like best player for the best situation, who they're playing against kind of thing, which I don't mind that.
Yeah, but again, it boils down to, though, who would you rather run the ball, right? If I'm the coach, if I'm Brandon Staley, I would want Eckler to run the ball 100% of the time. And but again, you can't do that because it's such a violent sport, and Eckler's not a big guy. And if you watch my video about him not being ranked top 10 by the league, some of these folks, he's a scat back. He's more like a, he's a smaller body, right? And I think, again, I'm seeing people talk about Xander. I'm taking, Horvath and Spiller and Kelly. They all do things differently. I think the one person that is probably out right now is Roundtree. I'm not seeing a lot happen with him right now. So I'm actually curious to see how he plays this game, because he'll be out there for sure. But, he's got to show something soon, because I'm just not seeing anybody talk about Roundtree at all. So anyways, again, keep your questions coming, guys. I know, we've got a few things going, but maybe we should switch to a run defense. Speaking of running, why don't we talk about run defense at this point, James?
Yeah, I think
I want you to give me your thoughts on this, because these statistics you put down in our notes are pretty good, man. I was pretty excited to see that's what we did. And again, these are number 2s, guys. We didn't have, we didn't have anybody out there. Of course, we did have Megan Fox out there, right?
Yeah.
Morgan Fox, guys, come on now.
Yeah, Morgan Fox there. Yeah,
yes.
It was kind of interesting watching the Rams game last week, because I kept thinking, man, there was a couple times we had some 3rd and 1s that we ended up stopping. I think there was a 4th and 1 that we stopped too. Great seeing that. Love seeing that. But it was interesting because I was thinking, man, we're going against a mobile quarterback with Bryce Perkins.
Oh, that guy was just bouncing around like a freaking. It's so frustrating to watch. And our tackling was horrible, guys.
Yep, and I was just going to say that.
Oh, you were
just going to say that. So the thing is, though, with the tackling, these stats probably would have been better.
100%.
So the first game versus the Rams, we gave up 109 yards of rushing, which is an average of 3.1. That's a massive difference from what we did last season.
100%.
And
I would take that all day.
Yeah, all day. And so that kind of places us in top 10 in defense versus the run on average per game in 2021 if we compare to the teams last year. I'll take that all day. If we could be top 10 against the run, and once again, we're going against other 2s, 2s versus 2s, we're doing that. That's great. Now it just shows that we might actually have a system and the right guys there now that could give us only 109 rushing yards. I would love to get under 100, because I would love to be able to get to that you can't run situation kind of thing on us.
Exactly.
But that's something to really, really look at on this game. And I think every Chargers fan, if you watched last season, you're ripping your hair out on how many big rips you were getting. And it was just awful to watch. So that's definitely a must-watch situation in this game. Let's see if that defense could actually hold their team. And obviously, Cowboys have some pretty good running backs there too.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see how that kind of pans out for us. But what's your thoughts on that, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, because we're not going to be defending against Ezekiel Elliott this game, So
no.
And if we would, that'd be a whole nother story. But I totally agree that I feel like it's great that our run defense was so good last week. I mean, sure, they were playing against scrubs as well. Not scrubs, second stringers, third stringers and stuff. But that just does prove that our depth is in much significantly better. Because obviously if they're able to stop the run and keep it down contained to just a little over 100 yards, I mean, that's great, because because that really means that their running back one is not going to get 100 yards, because like it would be like maybe 80 to 20 or something like that, maybe 70 or something like that at the most, so that's great. That's good to hear, and it's good to see. I mean, they might still get a touchdown or whatever, because of his goal line situations and stuff, but hey, I'm looking forward to seeing Austin Johnson out there and Sebastian Joseph Day. But they're not going to be playing today though, of course. So
and Megan Fox. Megan Fox looking pretty good.
Megan
out
Fox.
there.
Oh, she's so
Megan
hot.
Fox.
Just kidding.
Hubba, Megan Fox.
This guy.
What am I thinking about? Are we talking about football? What's happening?
Are we still talking about football? I don't know, man. Yeah. So wait, we're talking about Transformers. I mean, I know the Chargers have transformed a little bit this off season, So
they have.
Yeah.
Whoa, hello.
Yeah, we transformed.
I mean, the one thing I will say though, too, the nice thing that I saw is they were running the defense the right way. But again, I have to bring this up. Jerry Tillery was thrown around like a damn ragdoll the entire game.
Still,
it was embarrassing. I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Does this guy even know what he's doing?"
Yeah,
it was so bad.
I would say this. I would say this though too. Like during camp, there was a flash where he was amazing. There was one or two plays where he actually pushed really hard against the defensive lineman or offensive lineman on the Cowboys this week. So, but and Sean Merriman actually tweeted about it this week, and he's like, oh, like if he wants to make the team, that this has got to continue, So it's
exactly correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So, he needs to do that.
Yeah.
And, we were jamming the holes nicely, right? That's the whole point of the defensive lineman. You just blockbuster boys, dude. You just use jam holes.
That's right.
You do not let the A gap be there. You do not let the B gap, and the C gap is shut down. And then you have your defensive ends coming in and crunching them in the middle, right? That's the whole point. And even our backups did a good job with that. They did not give them running lanes to run through. So I'm excited to see the ones out there, right? I think the ones, it's going to be nasty, man. It's going to be nasty.
Watch. And I think nasty. You and I, Andy, were chatting on the phone when we saw one of the plays that Jerry Tillery basically, and the way I look at Jerry Tillery, he makes like 1 to 2 moves and then stops. Like he doesn't continue moving forward. And there was a play where he just like did his 2 moves and then he just stood back and he kind of didn't like the guys. There was like 3 dudes in front of him that he like didn't even move around at all. Like he just kind of sat there and just kind of waited. Like I'm like, this guy has no high motor. Like he has no high motor. So once again, speed bump is back and he is alive and well, baby. That's the way I view it.
Speed bump, dude. No, it was so frustrating. And I'm like, oh my God, like do something, dude. Like I've seen so many articles about him fighting to even be on the team still.
Yep.
Right. I don't even know if we could trade him off anymore, right? There's so many articles now about how bad he's doing in camp. I don't even know. I mean, who wants him? Right. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, again, there was some discussions that maybe the Browns, I did a video, I think about a month ago, that the Browns were potentially trying to scoop him up, but it'll boil down to injuries and such, but we'll see how that goes. All right. So maybe let's wrap up our final prepared notes and then we'll go into some questions. So like I said, get your questions out there. Defensive backfield. I tried so hard to do a video on Dean Leonard, kind of breaking down his videos, but I just could not get the technology to work, sadly. But look, Dean Leonard had some good flashes. He was in the right place, but he was not positioned correctly. That's the difference with college to the NFL. You can kind of get away with it in college. The NFL, you're exposed. You do not have anything in your favor in the NFL if you're not positioned correctly. And Dean Leonard got burned. The funny thing I will say is this too. What was the guy's name that was on the Rams that got all those plays against him? Why am I drawing a blank on his name all of a sudden? Horvath? No, it's not Horvath. That's Xander Horvath. What was his name? Anyways, he was locked down when Mike Davis was on him. He got nothing when Mike Davis was on him completely.
Yep.
As soon as Dean Leonard was on him, he was open the whole time. So just goes to show you what some veteran talent can do, and that's where Dean needs to get himself to. I think he has a talent. He just needs to understand how to play at this level. So that's my thoughts on Dean Leonard specifically.
Absolutely. And I mean, the thing about it is like Bryce Perkins basically targeted Dean Leonard pretty much every time. And it was kind of the same idea of what happened with last year with what's his face, number 20. I can't think of his name either, but basically, once they know that there's like a weak link, they're going to keep going after that weak link. And that makes sense. That's a good strategy. I mean, if you know there's a guy that's just not playing well, keep going after him, make his day more frustrating,
100%.
Make the defense, be easier for you to kind of go against. And so that's the whole thing. It was like Tavon Campbell,
Tavon Campbell. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Same kind of thing. Number 20, just keep throwing the ball towards him. And my hopes is that Dean Leonard figures out how to be able to turn his head around, because it wasn't like he wasn't like in position. He was in position to make plays, and then he's just not turning around to see the ball kind of thing.
Yep.
And so
100%.
if he just did that, he would be looking a million times better. So definitely that's something to look at. And also you want to see JT Woods not tackle his own player, by the way, too, to give up a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, right.
My God. I was like,
let's not do that.
The
Yeah.
circus music, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh my God,
So
that's like the wrong thing.
So
man.
bad. So bad.
I mean,
so either way, those are something to look at. Those are the points that we're looking at. What about you guys? Any questions that you guys have on that, or anything that you guys want to look at? I know, just a shout out to wide receiver. I know somebody talked about it a little bit earlier. Wide receiver has definitely got some things going on there too. Like, bold prediction, in my opinion, Michael Bandy finds a way on this team, because he seems like he's just a great fit for this team. Good. He'll probably be like a wide receiver 5, 6 or something like that. Another bold prediction, I think if Guyton really doesn't show a little bit more change in his route running, there's a chance that he could get let go. I think he's a great downfield guy, but at the same side, is he doing enough other than that? I'm waiting to see some sort of cross routes or some sort of like slants or anything else other than just find a way downfield kind of thing. So bold prediction, that's it. And I would love to see DeAndre Carter, by the way, in this game too. I'd love to see him out there doing.
I'd love to see some of those flashes.
I think we'll probably see a little more like Guyton. We'll probably see some more DeAndre Carter. The one thing that I will say that we'll start getting some questions. Here we go. Keep the questions coming, guys. We'll just start moving through it. Guyton's kind of a one-trick pony, right? And what was that? What you got there?
Oh no, it's got the Bolt Bros here, dude.
Bolt Bros. Yeah, Bolt Bros. You know what? I got
a whole bunch. I got a whole bunch on mine.
Oh man, I got to put some more on mine too. Dang it! I got to get some of them stickers. I get some stickers. Yeah, but Bandy looked great, right? He reminds me of Wes Welker. I think he's going to be awesome. I wanted to do a whole other breakdown video of Michael Bandy. Guys, I'm so frustrated. I could not make it work technology-wise. It just was grainy and just didn't work. So we're working through that. Yeah. But the good news is, I will say this, is we got a lot of really good wide receivers. Joe Reed looked really good. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I think the thing that I'm excited about, I feel like across the board, all of our teams, players just elevated their game in the offseason. Everyone came back with more talent. They said, we are going to win a championship this year. I'm excited to see that. But that starts with Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley has changed the culture of this team. That's huge. And it's funny. I was watching a video earlier. They were talking about this specific game, and they were like, well, this is a big season for Brandon Staley. If he doesn't go to the playoffs, he'll probably get let go because Sean Payton wants to be the head coach. And I'm like, look, that's one thing that somebody says. But wait a second, you got to understand, he has changed the culture of this team completely. Right. Just so I am a firm believer that the ship will be going the right direction. We are going the right direction. We've got to go execute. So
agreed.
Anyhow, so that's enough of that. So let's get you guys' questions. So let's go from there. So James, you want to take this question from Aether?
Yeah. So he wants to start with he doesn't want to beat up a dead horse, but basically he's talking about the talent and the depth on this team we have not had that in a long time. The contract DJ got was major. I mean, we chatted about that and just how big that is for the team, just as a culture, to be able to get that contract knocked out. 11-6 is not acceptable. 12-5 minimum AFC West titles what accepted. Yeah, and absolutely. And a lot of people think that that's what's required to be able to win the AFC West. Yeah. Now, 12-5 could be also the Chiefs getting 12-5. It could be the Broncos, and I hope not the Raiders. But I think 12-5 is minimum to win the AFC West, in my opinion. But the thing is, though, the Chiefs could easily make that record too. It's just going to come down to those interdivision wins. That'll be the deciphering point for everybody. So that's why there is a good chance, or there can be a great chance, that there could be multiple teams in our division that are 3-3 records at the end of the season. And now it becomes the other games that are going to decide who's going to be the AFC West champion. So absolutely.
Yeah. And his second question here, Aether, I do think that Herbert should win. He could win the MVP. If we go 13-4, 12-15, I think he'll win the MVP. And, Brandon Staley could even win Coach of the Year, right? I mean, look, he's turning around a team, it's got excellent talent, and, we'll see how far we go deep into the playoffs, right? So, hopefully we make a splash, right? So that's kind of the hope that I have.
And the whole thing too is there is a lot of hypotheticals here that we're talking about too. We feel, and there's a lot of seasons that we've gone into thinking, yeah, we'll be like 14-2 or we'll be whatever, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, the thing is though, with like Buffalo, I mean, obviously they have the AFC East, which is a tough division. I personally don't think that the Bills will go 13-4 this season, because I think that there is a little bit more talent involved with the AFC East. I mean, I'm saying, to me, like, the Jets could be a little bit of a scrappy team. Not saying they're going to be great, but they could be a little scrappy.
They get Zach Wilson back.
Yeah. What do they have now as a quarterback? I mean, last year they went through multiple quarterbacks, so it was
unbelievable. Unbelievable, yeah.
And then you got the Dolphins, who are a good team too, and they've built up a pretty good, solid thing. I don't know if Tua is really the guy, and then you got the Patriots too. So the Patriots do Patriot things all the time. So it's a tough division. I mean, I don't know. My hopes is that the Chargers go like 14-3. Like, that'd be killer. That would solidify basically the MVP for Herbert. That would probably win Coach of the Year for Brandon Staley. Yeah. Now that's just my hopes. Once again, hypothetically, that would be fantastic, and I'd love to see that happen and come to fruition. But for us, we got to play one game at a time, and that's what every team does. And so let's just make sure we don't have any of those hiccup games, and that's something I'm definitely looking forward to this year.
And you look at the schedule we have too, guys, and look, our first two games are our two biggest games, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders. Yes. Then we go Thursday night football, the Chiefs.
Yeah, short week right into the Chiefs. Yeah, man, two huge games right away.
I mean, if we go 2-0 there, we could be undefeated going into the bye pretty easy, because it gets pretty soft after that, right? So I'm just excited, man. I think it could be great. All right, let's go to Carlos's question here. Yeah, if right tackle doesn't work out, what about Daryl Williams? Like, I love the idea of Daryl Williams. I think he wants a ton of money. So I think that's probably part of the problem there, is that he probably wants a boatload of money. And he's a big body. He's done it, and I know he'll do well. So we'll see. But, I think everything I've seen our coaching staff talk about, they seem to be okay with Pipkins or Storm. But, boy, you just never really know, right? It would be nicer to have a bigger guy like a Daryl Williams, but you never really know how that's going to play out. So what are you guys' thoughts on that for right tackle?
Is it too late to add another right tackle? Like, that's what my first thought. Like, is it going to be something that we can bring in to not screw up the system, basically? So, like, I know you could go from one right tackle to another team and you do the same exact thing, but there is kind of a method to each team and how they want the right tackle to play. And so, who knows? I mean, I would think if after this game, if we think, holy smokes, these guys are not going to pan out, that's when they probably have to think about it. And so
exactly. Yep.
So
exactly.
Pull the ripcord. Sorry, this ain't working out. We got to make a decision on this,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Yeah, I fully agree too. It's like, I don't think we're gonna see another player really added to the team to be a starter right now. That might happen after the bye week or something like that, or maybe a couple games in, that we may be looking on the board to see if we can trade somebody here and there, but it's not going to happen before the season starts at this point. I think
I got an idea. Let's trade Tillery for Williams. What do you say?
That'd be amazing. That's a fair trade. Trade.
Wait, they couldn't even. He wouldn't even have to trade him. We wouldn't have to trade him because he's a free agent right now. So I mean, it's.
Well, there you go.
But I think Williams also probably wants to not be in training camp. I think he wants to just be ready to get out there and just play.
Right.
Get some money. He'll end up somewhere on the Browns or somewhere, maybe the Bengals. He'll get a fat contract from somebody. I promise you. So, anyways. Okay, 8th. Bandy and Reed. Hey, they look good too, guys. I was really impressed with both of those guys. And both of them can take punts and kickoff returns. And so I'm kind of, again, that's how you make a squad, right? You got to you can't be a one-trick pony. You got to be able to do a bunch of different things, right? I mean, hell, Michael Davis is out there playing special teams right now. He's been in the league for a while, and look, he's got to fight for a spot at this point, right? I mean, Sante Samuel was out there, game one for a whole quarter. And you wouldn't even thought he would even be out there, but they're like, no, you need to prove you can do this, right? You were out a lot last year, so we need you to see some different things. So pretty exciting to see.
Yep. No, it's great to be able to see the depth of this team. Adding somebody else like that. Adding basically some other talent, some guys. And Michael Bandy's been with the team, I think, for about 2 years, I believe. And then Joe Reed's been on this team for a while too, as a wide receiver, which I thought he got let go for some reason, but he seemed fine. I mean, once again, he had a broken play that he was able to get that touchdown and everything. So really what's going to be with a lot of the guys that make this team, it's what they could do on special teams. And that's
correct.
What wide receiver 5 and 6 basically is. So we'll see how they kind of pan out on that side.
Right. Yeah. You want to take this one, Kyle? I know talk about Salyer.
Yeah. So Ryan Sutter, you asked, when Salyer was drafted, I thought that the Chargers should give him a shot at right tackle. Yeah. He showed in college that he doesn't have to be put in a typical tackle size in order to be successful.
Great.
1,000% agreed, because Salyer actually proved in college that he can actually be flexible for any position. Because yes, he played mostly left tackle for the Bulldogs, but he did have reps and starts on multiple different positions, and 100%, I think he 100% should take a shot at the right tackle position. Yeah. And I fully agreed. I wanted that to happen, and I thought that they could put him there, and that could actually help Storm Norton learn some more things, or maybe get some more fire underneath his butt. And of course, Trey Pipkins is like the number one person for that position at this point in time. So I feel like that Salyer could be the answer. But then again, it seems like they're putting him on the left guard as a backup for Filer. For why exactly, I'm not 100% sure. But then again, that's why last year they had Pipkins as backup for Slater. But Pipkins obviously can play both positions, right tackle and left tackle. And Correct. So I think that's really why they're definitely going to have Salyer on this team for that 53, because they want him to be there for this Swiss Army knife position. It's like, if someone goes down, they can just throw him in there. Bam. We got a solid backup for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice depth guy. Guy.
Amazing depth guy. Potential starter,
Exactly. Well, and one thing to even think about too, we even got Hymas out there too. Hymas looks great as well too.
Right.
I saw nothing wrong with him. Will Clapp got clapped a few times. I remember that guy came. I mean, I was like, whoa, where the hell was this guy, dude?
Just let him in.
Completely missed that. Yeah, he just let him walk right in, and I was like, holy smokes. But if you remember correctly, he's a Georgia boy, Jamari, and he dropped very deep in the draft, and he was very upset that he dropped so far in the draft.
Yes.
And because he was considered a better lineman than, he should have probably gone maybe 4th round, but he dropped all the way down, I believe the 5th round, something like that, maybe even late 3rd. So is when a lot of people projected him. So he was pretty upset that he dropped it when he did. We're lucky we got him. But as it stands now, he's probably going to be a depth guy for sure. So,
it would be interesting to be able to see Salyer at least get some reps in preseason at the right tackle, just to see what happens. That's something I've kind of kept my eye on too. After, for instance, let's say Storm Norton and Trey Pipkins play, and then just put in Salyer there too. That's one thing that I will expect to see happen in the 3rd preseason game, because Salyer did get some reps at right tackle in a training camp. So there is a chance that he could get out there, and I think they should put him out there just for him to get a couple reps to see kind of how it goes.
Yeah. So, especially in the preseason game, give it a shot.
Correct. Correct. Yep. Yeah. Well, let's go to Pablo's question. Do you see Horvath being similar to Mike Allstate? Allstott. Yes.
Allstott. Yeah.
Allstate. He's selling insurance out there. Hey man.
Are you in good hands?
Yeah.
With Allstate. Yes.
With Horvath.
I can see that though, and the cool thing about Horvath too, he's caught the ball quite a bit in the backfield. I've noticed as well too. He's done very well with that, which kind of surprised me. I didn't expect him to have decent hands the way he's had.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about a guy like Horvath is he's a big dude, and guess what? You catch the ball on the edge, you're going to hit a corner who's probably maybe even 100 pounds lighter than Horvath. Horvath is what, 250? He's huge.
He's a big dude.
That guy, and he's going to crunch those fools on the edge. And guys, make no mistake about it, that wears on a team long term. they are going to struggle. So I think that's really great. Anyways, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Man, yeah, it'd be great. I'd love to see that happen. I mean, heck, if we could have a stable fullback guy there that can be that bruiser back when we need him, and he's done a good job of being able to get those short yardage situations thus far for us. So, man, it would be killer if he could be that guy. I mean, who would not want to have a Hall of Famer guy like Mike Allstott, Yeah, I mean, not saying that he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, everybody thinks every draft pick's a Hall of Famer, but but who knows? I mean, he's got the build. I think he is also still learning the position a bit too. But I think that I think it's definitely it's looking good so far. So we'll see where it leads us.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So ERB, do we carry 3 quarterbacks? Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's going to boil down to special teams, right? Again, right, Horvath probably is going to be more of a special teams guy, and we got to wonder Kelly and also Spiller. I think Spiller will definitely be on the field, and Kelly will probably be on the field. I think that's why I think Trey probably won't make it, just because he hasn't done much in special teams at this point, and he's, at least from what I could tell. So it'll be interesting to see. They'll probably only carry two quarterbacks, is what I think. Because Justin Herbert's been done such a good job, even like Phil Rivers, not having any type of major injuries. So it'll probably be like we were last year, Chase Daniels and Justin Herbert, right? So that's kind of my take. I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think definitely Easton Stick is going to be he's still going to be with us, but he's just going to be on the practice squad, just like he was last time. So, and that's not a bad place for him to be. I mean, he's still going to be practicing with the team. He's still going to be out there, but if the call comes that, someone needs to step up, it's going to be Easton Stick over Chase Daniels. Cause like we said before, because Chase Daniels, he's just a quarterback coach these days, I mean,
100%,
he's had like a 10-year+ career or something like that, made $50 million being a backup quarterback, and that's a wild thing to do, and he's got good leadership ability. Don't get me wrong, and he actually does showed some flashes of, he's still got some legs, he's still got an arm, out there in that preseason first game. But I mean, when you see him out there playing like the regular season, he's just throwing ducks left and right, so so and I'm just gonna say is I think we absolutely need 3 quarterbacks on the team for that reason alone. So
I kind of brought up a whole thing in one of our last streams, that, what if it gets to that point that we're like, man, we can't have 3 quarterbacks. We got to get rid of one of them. If it's going to be Chase Daniels or my brain's going out on me right now. But basically Easton Stick. Yeah. So I'm just saying with Chase Daniels, I zoned out. But anyways, saying with Chase Daniels, he could get let go and then basically just get brought in as a quarterback coach too, assistant quarterback coach to Herbert. So we could totally do something like that. I'd feel way more confident to be able to have Easton Stick out there as a quarterback for quarterback too. So once again, the depth chart says or between Chase Daniels and Easton Stick. So who knows?
Yeah, it's really close. Like I said, I still think Stick is probably the better overall quarterback now. Agreed. But Chase Daniel also helps Justin Herbert be a better quarterback. Right. And I think at his age and how new he is in the league, I think that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. So,
but then I think that they going into that one last thought though is but then that would mean that Chase Daniels would be able to help Easton Stick be even a better quarterback as well. There would be no real different or start and stop or whatever that or ramp up or whatever that he would need. So Chase Daniels can be that guy for Easton Stick just like he's doing it for Justin Herbert. So
Yeah, and it's interesting too. The culture's been really cool, right? You can tell that they're supportive of each other. They just want to make the team better, and they're checking their ego at the door, which I think is excellent, especially in a sport like football where that's really easy to do. Is have a lot of ego and walk around and hey, I'm the shiznit, whatever, right? You need to llisten to me,
right?
Okay. Yeah. So it's exciting to see, right? So, all right. So let's move on to the next one from Ryan. How has Horvath been showing he can block in the offseason? From what I can tell, he's done very well in the in special teams, and so he's done a very good job. Now, again, you're probably asking more, how is he blocking against the rush? But I've heard he's done a pretty good job, and that's a big part of his game, right? He's a fullback. That's a big part of what a fullback does. Is he hitting the right guy at the right time? So, everything I've heard, he's doing a good job, and so that's encouraging, right?
And I want to say in the last preseason game, I think he led in I formation with Spiller a couple of times and did a pretty good job on the block.
Yep.
I know there was one specific play that he was actually like the ceiling block on the right side for the deep pass to Joe Reed. And so he was involved in that to be able to make sure that happened, and Chase Daniels had enough time to make that throw. So he's getting involved. So far, he looks good in the preseason, what we're seeing. So, I mean, that's something definitely to watch in this game, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. I really like what I'm seeing with him. Plus, he's got an awesome mustache, right? He looks like he owns like a panel van or something cool like that, with some horses painted on the side. A little bit of van down by the river, It's kind of fun.
Right. So, will Bandy make the 53? I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say, Pablo. I mean, he's doing all the right things, and it's just about trying to find that space for somebody else. Do we need 6 wide receivers on the team? Who knows? But with Bandy, it's about being on special teams more than anything. It's what he could do in special teams. So
and he will play a lot of special teams today. I think so will Joe Reed. I think those two guys will play a lot of special teams. We probably won't even see much of DeAndre Carter in special teams just because they already know what they got with him in special teams, right? So, that doesn't really matter. All right. So, James, you want to take this question?
People keep saying how hard our division is. My guess, no one saw the games last year. First game at Denver, we were down 7 at half versus Chiefs at home, up 7 with 2 minutes. What do you think about this? Yeah, I mean, we almost swept the Chiefs last year. And, we got smoked by the Broncos game 1, I believe, and then we won game 2. And then the Raiders, we obviously split with them too. We beat them up on the Lightning game where they made a big old fiasco about being in a dome stadium and having a rain out situation and everything like that, because there was thunder and lightning ready to strike upon the Raiders.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was I don't know. That wasn't lightning sound, but
I don't know what that was. Yeah.
That was like a snake. I don't know where that came from.
We're not the snakes. Yeah, man.
Man.
But I mean, the thing is, though, we weren't far off. But also the other teams weren't far off too. So, I think the thing for us, I mean, we were in the point of a tie with the division kind of late in the season, and then we ended the season 1-3.
Yeah, 1-3. Yep.
We were close. And to be honest, we could easily be that team that could take this division. And now I see other people saying, Raiders will take the division. Broncos will take the division. The Chiefs will take the division. Nobody knows. There's so much good talent in this division that we don't really know. And it always boils down to who's the healthiest in the end. So,
and who's hot at the end, right? We lost. We had so much depth issues last year. At the end of the season, just goes to show you we did not have enough depth. And so, I keep going back to the stupid Texans game. I just, if there was a game last year that I wanted to drink a bottle of bleach and say, hasta lasagna, guys, see ya. This is it. That was the game. I mean, I was like, you got to be joking me, man. So, I mean, because that shouldn't even have been a game, right? I mean, it shouldn't have been a game. Shouldn't have been a game. And
we went to that freaking restaurant expecting the W that day. We were all super freaking high as a kite, just like, oh yeah, man, this is gonna be amazing. And then it's like,
we walked out. All right, what's the tallest mountain we can drive this car off of together? And end it all as the Bolt Bros. See you later.
Yes, that's right.
We're done.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That was tough.
Yeah.
4-2. I'll take it all day.
Yeah.
I think that would win the division. Obviously, we got a bunch of other games, 11 other games that we got to still win. But that would do it. I'll take it, Herb. 4-2 division for sure. and sweeping the Raiders for sure. Every year.
My gosh.
Please.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just want to
Yes,
donkey punch
please.
the Raiders, man. I just want to stick their nose into the dirt.
Yeah.
Knock the guy liner off of Derek Carr's face, dude. Oh man. I just want to see an Iron Maiden. He's like this, about to pass the ball, and just Bosa and Mac just and then the ball just shoots up in the air.
Yep.
Oh, and the guy liner pops off of his eyes, dude. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, Ryan with keeping 3 quarterbacks kind of gets one player to not have a position on this team. And so
very true.
It is a hard situation. I mean, we've been saying the 53-man roster cuts are going to be tough.
It's going to be
a lot of tough decisions.
Yep.
So we will see.
Yeah, I think and I think even this week, after this week, there's going to be more cuts. But like these are still going to be fairly easy cuts to make.
The tough one is through in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, that's the big one.
That's going to be the toughest one, and it's going to be such a hard thing to see a lot of these players go. But then again, really, we keep saying 53, but realistically, there's going to be more like 63 players on the team.
Yeah,
correct.
Because of practice squad plus like injuries, or not just injuries, but injured reserve, players.
Injured reserve, correct. Yep.
And I think because I still haven't figured it out, but like, did we have like 3 this year because of COVID rules or something like that? Because I don't know. I think that it's just a cold now, so whatever.
Yeah.
So
CDC came out and said it was a cold. Exactly.
Yeah. It's like freaking joke.
Well, it'll be definitely interesting. But again, it just goes to show you how much depth this team has, right? So even the practice squad's going to have good players that probably will play at some point this year because injuries do happen.
Yeah.
So let's finish the last question here with Aether. This is a great question. I'll be honest with you. To some degree, I kind of was hoping that we would lock up Justin Herbert now.
Yeah.
No. Hypothetically, what if we get a Super Bowl berth, and now we got to pay this guy who would, let's say we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, his contract is going to be gigantic, right? So it's an interesting. Now I will say this: they did specifically ask Tom Telesco this. They said, "Well, Tom, wouldn't it be better for you guys to sign him now?" And you know what he said? He said it'll all work itself out. The thing that I like about Justin Herbert too, I really question how big of a contract the guy really needs or wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have to be the highest paid guy at quarterback? I don't know that he wouldn't mentally need to be that. I would hope that he wouldn't, because my concern, and I was talking to you guys about this as well too. I don't know if you guys heard about the Aaron Rodgers meltdown with his team this last week. They can't afford wide receivers because he's paid too much damn money. And he brought him in apparently he just unloaded on all of the wide receivers, said, "You guys all suck. You're horrible." And I mean, he unloaded on them. Apparently it was bad. Apparently it was a big thing. And I sit back and say to myself, if you pay a quarterback that much money, like Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, it puts you in a bad position. You can't go get Khalil Mack. You can't keep Joey Bosa. You can't keep Derwin James. So I'm hoping that he takes a smaller contract so he can still have some people. Now, you can always restructure your contract. I know that, but it's still something to think about, right? But I think 8 years makes a lot of sense. That's a lot of money. I could see a guaranteed of 180 to maybe 150.
Yeah.
Whew, still a lot of damn money, guys.
A lot of money. That's a lot of coin. Yeah.
A lot of money, man.
I'll say this. If Justin Herbert does win us a Super Bowl, I would be happy for the Chargers to pay him $1 billion contract.
Like, $1 billion.
$1 billion contract.
$1 billion.
No, billion with a B.
Yeah, billion.
Yeah.
B.
So,
billion.
Like, I don't even care, dude. Like, hey, he deserves every bit of that cash, 1,000%. I would say, just because. I mean, hey, he finally got us to the bowl, and if he wins it, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
come on now.
Exactly.
Well,
we better get that check ready because it's going to happen. So Herbert's our guy. He's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's Swolbert, dude. Swolbert. He's all swole up, dude.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, Rex Burkhead, boy, I can't even believe he ran all over us like that. Oh,
yeah, that
gosh.
was
wild.
I watched a bit of
painful.
that game again. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I just
man.
sat there. I'm like,
you were just a glutton for pain, aren't you, bro?
Yeah, I know it was so bad.
Shoot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
yeah.
Anyways, I'm excited though, guys. I mean,
Yep.
It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens with his contract, but I really do believe it's gonna happen. Yeah, you know, and getting into next camp next year for sure.
Yep.
But guys, I couldn't be more excited about this season. This will be a fun game to watch. And again, remember this, guys. Pretty much you're going to see our number twos and depth players, right? So watch the people rotating in and out. The first groups that are out there, that would really be your twos, your threes.
Yeah.
Really, the second half is going to be, you know, the younger guys, undrafted free agents that just need to get some reps, you know, and probably not making our squad here, but somewhere else. So
for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
And Kyle, you got any extra little last points before I close this show out here?
Yeah, well, you know, just a few announcements, you know, like, I mean, hey, it's time to bolt the hell up, you know, like I got some links down there and, you know,
bolt the hell up.
Yeah. Cause we got, you know, we got a link there for the NFL shop, you know, you can freaking buy some product or whatever, buy some merch, get some more jerseys, get some hats, you know, stuff like that. I'm going to be at the game today. So if you're going to be there today too, I'll be roaming around Thunder Alley for a little bit. And, you know, just come up, say hi. Maybe we'll shoot a little video together. I'll talk to you and get that going. And to go back to those Seagulls, Kobe Bryant book things, like, all right, well, I guess I got a bunch of videos. I gotta just buckle down and just get up and get them ready for you guys, you know? So,
right.
we got a lot of things to do. In fact, I think you guys, but you and Andy both have some, James and Andy, they have some footage for like the training camp that I don't have anymore. So you're gonna have to send it to me, like to send it to my email, you know. Yeah. Well, I'll get that thing taken care of. So
cool. Yeah, we'll get that over.
But you know what? Like, and I'll just say this though too, is like, honestly, one of my favorite communities for the Chargers is the Charger Bolt family. You guys, if you guys haven't joined that one yet, like I highly recommend it. You know, Ken and Mary, like they run that one. He puts a lot of heart into the team and into his channel. Like, you know, he does a Monday night giveaway every single week. And you know what? And he's actually my pick for fan of the year this year. Because, you know, talking to him, like, you know, he puts a lot, he bought the mascot costume and he's trying to get that costume back on the field. He's trying to get it out there, you know, trying to get the Chargers another mascot again, you know, and I think that they have the best chance to do that one, you know? So like, I want to see that. And that mascot was there for the Super Bowl. So let's bring that Super Bowl energy back with his outfit back on that field too, you know? So
let's go.
Yeah, man. So let's go. Let's do this.
Yep.
So
well, one thing I'll also say to you guys is that we're on all the medias, right? We're on the gram. Actually, and we post different content at different locations as well too. So if you're just looking at us on YouTube, check us out on Instagram as well too, because we post a lot of stuff about fantasy football. And just so you know, guys, we are going to be in a fantasy football league against the other Charger YouTubers.
Influencers,
so
podcasts. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of information on that too. Kyle, you want to talk a little bit more about that? And
so I don't know
how are we going to be doing that? Are we going to be doing a weekly episode on it, an update, or how's that playing out? That'll be a lot of fun.
We should definitely talk about it a little bit more. And like we should definitely like you know like clown on the other teams for having like as much as possible, you know, like but honestly, dude, it's a deep league. Like you know, don't get me wrong, it's a very So I think there's supposed to be potentially up to 16 teams on this freaking league. So, oh my gosh. But right now, like they haven't announced there's a couple new teams that have already been added to the league. But for the most part, though, like it's all the major players here on YouTube for sure.
So cool.
Yeah, so you know we got Chargers Chat, Bolt Beat, the news play, Die Hard Bolt Club, the president there, Los Rayos. Like so, actually, it's kind of like me, the Los Rayos and the Bolt Bros are kind of teaming up together because like I'm kind of in with all of them anyways. So it's like so it's like
we got two teams. We represent two teams,
right? Yeah. There you go. Locked On Chargers, Rivers Lake Yacht Club. The director's going to be there. guilty as charged, Chargers Unleashed, charge it to the game, and so it's gonna be amazing, dude. Like it's gonna be really fun. Obviously, actually, thank God it is not a paid league. I mean, I would gladly put down $100 for this league, whatever.
Easy. Yeah,
I'd throw. But you know what? I mean, because it's such a deep league, I'm really glad that it's completely free, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so tough. Like, man, like we all three of us has to be like on top of it in order for these bragging rights,
Right.
So,
absolutely, man. No,
but yeah,
exciting.
I think we should definitely we'll plan to have like maybe a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night kind of discussion between each other's about like what we should do and stuff. So
I think we should.
Yeah.
And again, on Instagram, you follow us, Bolt Bros, on Instagram. We talk a lot about fantasy football over there. It's a different crowd. This is longer format type videos, right? On YouTube specifically, but Instagram is a little bit faster, a little quicker, the reels and so on and so forth. So, so follow us on those other platforms as well. We're on Twitter, Twitch.
Yep.
Man, we're on all the medias, guys. We're on all the medias. Right. We just, we're going to take over the world here pretty soon, especially when we win the Super Bowl, son. As it was going to happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap up the show, because we got a post game show that we're going to be doing too after the game. I think it might just be Andy and I. So that's definitely going to be going down, and hopefully it all works out well and technology doesn't fail us again. But either way, once again, guys, thanks so much for participating and joining our stream. We are all here and just about the community and growing this thing out with the Chargers, and we love the Chargers and love having you guys be a part of it and connect with you guys. So once again, my name's James. Here with my two bros, Andy and Kyle. Bolt Bros, don't punt. Let's go. Out. Beat these Cowboys. Let's go.
Cowboys.
That's all that matters.